Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Royal Sussex Live. Welcome, one and all. Thank you all so much for being here. Okay, let me see who's here. Ah, Daisy Nash. Thank you so much for being first. Is that right? Yeah, I think that's what it says here. Um. Oh, Lord, I was on the wrong screen. uh No, it's Lorna Williams. You're here first. Thank you so much. I knew something was wrong with it. Okay, I was on the wrong screen. My apologies. Carlene Beckford, thank you for being here. Rodney Jackson, Lydia Washington, Calavetta, no, let me see, Nawa Nawa Jaju. Thank you so much for being here. And Bunny Rose. Who else is here? Lady Metatrons. Oh, you know what? Let me go ahead and get my slides up here before I forget. Anyway, I don't think we'll be on but an hour, if that. That's what I always say, right? Anyway, you guys, everything about this institution that the Sussexes have had to run for their lives to escape, it is becoming more curious by the day. I can't explain it. I can't explain it. There is no explanation. Uh, I guess it's the things that are not obvious that are screaming out the loudest. Okay, there we go. So, still missing Kate. We don't know where she is. Um, and from what they say, and you know they are never wrong, sources claim, a source close to the royal family, um, the big question is, was she ever at the hospital in the first place? Was she ever there in the first place? And of course, William, who has not been seen, as far as I know, since he went to the hospital that one day. If you guys can recall some other time that he's been present, please let me know. I haven't seen him. Camilla, let me put it to you like this. Camilla looked like she's been hanging out with Uncle Gary, or she could have just been hanging out with her own son. They both have a history of baking soda, so she has been just bouncing around with a renewed vigor. It's as though she has taken a lover much younger than herself. I don't know where this energy is coming from because she is one of the laziest people who have ever lived. Um, One of the reasons why I knew she had fit right into that family. Lazy, lazy, lazy. Let's see what else. Oh, and Charles. I suppose Charles may be out of commission for a little while, although he seemed very energetic when he left the hospital. But then again, when you and your wife are trolling your son and daughter in law, then of course you probably got a little extra pep in your step. And rising above it all, sailing heads and shoulders above everybody else, never putting a foot wrong, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. But of course, they are flawless. They are always flawless. Never put a foot wrong. Connie Balmer! Hey, Connie Balmer. And hello to you, Black Queen. Verta Sanchez, how are you? Um, the name of the person who is harassing and stole content. Con is, what is that? Someone stole content? Oh, that's not for me, is it? Sorry. Susie Q. How are you, Susie Q? And okay. Hello, Hazel Jones. So anyway, let me continue. Meghan's endorsement boosted, that is, fine jewelry brand. Is it Kimmy? Yeah, I guess it's Kimmy. Kimmy with a $1.2 million investment on LinkedIn. Jessica Warch, co founder, shared that Meghan's wearing their earrings shortly after their lunch transformed their fortunes, leading to a 10,000% sales increase and global visibility. Well, of course. Well, of course, anything that Meghan wears is transformative. How many times have we heard that same story about how they were just sitting in their kitchen, minding their business, and all of a sudden the phone kept ringing? Or how about this? You go to bed and you wake up and you think your phone is broken because there's all these messages. Did you see? Did you see? And of course, what they needed to know is that Meghan was seen wearing one of their products or one of their designs. And then after that, it is onward and upward, just like with that denim company that she wore to Cardiff. Yeah, that company. And of course, after Meghan wore their jeans, it wasn't long after that that everyone who worked at the company became very comfortable around cameras because time and time again, one person after the other, or should I say, one news agency after the other, they wanted to come and visit and talk to them about their product. So, yeah, who could be surprised by that? It is a transformative moment. And for anyone who has struggled to get a business off the ground, someone who believed in the work that they were doing, is a win-win situation. How could you lose? So that is one of those extraordinary things, that you can struggle and struggle. And just like having Cat Williams on your show, could you imagine what Cat Williams could do for Royal Sussex? Sir, sir, I was the King of England. I was the King of England. Tell me, how many times have you seen a black man on that throne? I'm supposed to be the king, sir. So, could you imagine what would happen to Royal Sussex if Cat Williams was on Royal Sussex? I mean, this show was skyrocket. You know that Shay Shay Lounge got over 50 million views. And if that wasn't enough of an assurance that the show was, that the channel was, well, okay. They did a parody on Saturday Night Live. That's when you know you have arrived. Lorna Williams says, Barry, Murad screenshot one of your mods' comments, gave them a shout out, and used it on his channel, probably out of context. Really? I didn't see that. I didn't see that. But you know what, guys? I told you I had a feeling that he was watching Royal Sussex, especially when you heard him say, the calls are coming from in the house. He couldn't even say it right, but the calls are coming from in the house. I had a feeling he was watching Royal Sussex. But no, I did not see that. I hope it wasn't anything detrimental, but I'm going to take a look right now. Now, was it the last one that he had? I'm going to skim through and see. Oh, let me see here. I'm going to skim through and see if I can find it. If I can, I will share it with everyone. But so far, I don't see it. But yeah, he has almost gotten all of the viewers back that he lost. He was over 300,000. I see he's at 298 again. So, yeah, he's back. He's back. All is forgiven. He's back. Okay. So it wasn't that one. Let me take a look at this other one. because now you got me curious. And if I could find it, I will share it. And you say it's out of context. Context. Yeah. Okay. Any idea which episode it was? uh, because now you have. Oh, oh, I see it. I see it. Well, actually, if it's the one that I'm looking at, this looks like it's from Twitter. The news going around that the aristocratic circle is that Kate is being treated at her parents' house for a mental breakdown. She has a massive mental breakdown when she was served with papers, those kind of papers. It is one of the people from this channel. Oh, wait a minute. No, that is from here. Yes, that is from here. And I guess it is out of context. Yeah, I see the wrench. I see the wrench. My, don't that beat all? Well, anyway, that that is well. I don't know. I'll have to watch the episode so that I can see what context it's in. But of course I can't do that now. So I will take a look at it later. I'll take a look, keep the screenshot, and I hope it's nothing terrible. But anyway, yeah, there's a lot of things that are taken out of context. So um, not to say that he did or didn't, but just interesting. Very, very interesting. So somebody has been actually, I think there's been a couple of somebodies that's been watching Royal Sussex, which just goes to show you guys we have been on the ball. Not me, we, because your contribution is highly valuable. So, but thank you so much for that, Lorna Williams. That's interesting to see. So people are watching us. I feel so naked all of a sudden. And as I often say, next time, buy me a drink first. VS speaks royally. Yes, sometimes it feels like somebody's watching me. Yeah, sometimes it feels like somebody's watching me. Okay. Well, and as for the comment itself, you all, I have been down the rabbit hole today, and I'm telling you, I have heard some of everything. And just one comment is just as convincing as the last. I even spoke on Spaces today. I was so involved with everything, but yeah, I have to say it was very, very, very interesting. Uh, I'm so sorry. I muted myself. I'm so sorry. I muted myself. Okay. Oh yeah. Um, yeah. He had a spot of bother, didn't he? He did have a spot of bother. Let me see. Oh, as a content creator, I'll just say no comment. Oh, thank you, Lydia Washington. Let me go over here and pin that to the top of the chat so you guys can like, share, and subscribe uh, to VS Speaks Royally. Oh, wait, that is not me. That's someone else. Okay, let me find it. I got it. Nobody help me. There, nope, there we go. And pin message done. Okay, let us continue then. Now, oh, that is super small print. Let me see if I can make that bigger so I can see it. Okay, that helps. Right here it says Kimmy lands a £250,000 investment from Stephen Bartlett of the BBC Dragon Den. Sharing our story on such a huge platform like Dragon's Den was a unique opportunity to help spread the word about this relatively new technology, which allows beautiful diamonds and jewelry to be made without costing the earth. Jessica Warch and Sydney Newhouse, founders of Kimmy. I hope I'm saying that right. Anyway, Kimmy founders Sydney Newhouse and Jessica Warch appeared on Dragon's Den, the BBC version of Shark Tank, crediting Meghan's endorsement for significant revenue growth after their launch without investment. The founder revealed that they reached out to Meghan through cold emails, a strategy that landed them investments from others. The fine jewelry brand and lab grown diamond pioneer secured £250,000 investment from Stephen Bartlett after being impressed by their persistence. Stephen Bartlett is an entrepreneur, rather, speaker, investor, author, and co host of UK's number one podcast, The Diary of a CEO, an unfiltered journey into the remarkable stories and untold dimensions of the world's most influential people, experts, and thinkers. And then also, if you take a look at did I move that for? Yeah, you guys can see it. Just wanted to make sure you could see it. Okay, yeah, it says Meghan Markle wears Kimmy once again. We launched Kimmy 5 years ago with very little investment and close to no marketing. 2 months after our launch, Meghan Markle was seen wearing our earrings at an official outing, and this completely changed our brand that is not bland brand. It enabled us to grow our sales not one. I got to get this right. 10,000% overnight and gain visibility worldwide. The impact wasn't just seen on our brand, but also on the industry as a whole. It was the first time royalty was seen wearing lab-grown diamonds at the time, still a very new concept. A few months ago, we had the honor of seeing Meghan Markle wearing our earrings once again. Our bestseller, the Semi Hoops, lab grown diamonds, Meghan Markle, female founders. And as you all know, Meghan is all about uh, girl power, empowering women. She's a feminist. As they say, a high tide lifts all boats. And when a woman's, how do they say that? When a woman, if you educate a girl, anyway, one of those sayings about how if you can help women succeed, then the whole family succeeds and eventually the entire community succeeds. So, very, very important to make sure that women have a voice and also that they are able to fulfill their entrepreneurial dreams. So, cheers to Meghan. Uh, well, I mean, you guys, I look, I don't know. I have been watching him the past couple of days, and he talks very fast. That's all I'll say is he talks very fast. But I don't think I don't know that it's a problem. I wouldn't worry about it. At least where that's concerned. Um, and the only reason why I'm saying this, you guys, is because the Daily Mail takes, you know how I'm always so careful to crop the comments from the Twitter. The Daily Mail routinely takes things from Twitter, and if they don't put the tweet itself, if they don't screenshot the tweet, they will actually put the link itself in the paper or in the article. And so the thing is, once we put these things out there, they are in the public domain. So for that reason, we should always be careful about what we post so that it doesn't compromise us in our personal lives or lead to us being doxxed or followed around the internet or whatever they call it. So I shouldn't think it's a problem. These things are in the public domain, and if it was something that the Daily Mail got a hold of, they would definitely put that in the Daily Mail article without hesitation. They're not even going to ask you for permission, and this is something that happens routinely. So I don't suspect it is a problem. And even if it is taken out of context, it is just one person's opinion about a topic. And, for that matter, anything that we say can be taken out of context. So I don't know in what spirit he said anything. I'll watch it later. But for now, I would say it's not a problem. So I won't say what you should and should not watch. All I can say is when you're engaging with these derangers and these you know, royalists and such, just try not to threaten anybody. Surely don't threaten anybody. And try not to make your comments personal. That's the only thing I've said time and time again. Don't threaten anybody and don't make your comments personal. So, with that, I won't say what you should or should not watch or anything like that. And I don't suspect that this is going to be a problem for us. Um, these things are in the public domain, and anybody has access to it so long as it's in the comment section. So, but I tell you, it is interesting to know who's watching. And there was someone else that I know for sure was watching Royal Sussex because I heard them singing Jeepers Creepers. Where'd you get those peepers? And I'm just like, hey, that's my song. That is my song. Um, now see, that's what I'm talking about. That juicy topic. We're going to get to that one for sure. So anyway, let us keep it moving here. Uh, okay. All right. Just looking at a couple of your comments. Oh, really? Take a few. Okay. No, I didn't see that. Okay. All right. Gosh, I wish I was in the chat with you guys because oh man. Okay. Let me keep moving. So, thank you all so much for sending out your prayers and your kind thoughts for Cynthia Thorpe. From what I hear, she was very much moved by your kind and considerate thoughts. Greatly appreciated. If you would like to sign the Get Well card, there is one on the community tab. You can tell because it looks just like this, but so yeah, as I mentioned yesterday, she's is going to have surgery soon. So any prayers and thoughts and kindness that you could share would be greatly appreciated. So let me see how many of you all commented. I think I put that up last night. Uh, wow, 75 comments. Very, very nice. 75. Very nice. Thank you all so much. Okay. Yeah, 75. Thank you all so much. Greatly, greatly appreciate it. Yeah, and that is a prayer for surgery. So, okay. Oh, no worries. You know that autocorrect and everything, it gets the better of all of us at some point. There are people who have fallen out over over such things, but I always try to make sure I read things carefully and consider the possibilities, and I think we all should. I do believe that half of the Royal Rota Rats commentators and so-called reporters do list the Royal Sussex, Duchess of Success, Sherry and Charday. Oh, you mean listen, right? And I think that they have started to listen to Anita. Watch what you put down. Very good advice, Beverly McCaskill. As I say, these things are in the public domain, and I'm surprised at how often when I see a video that kind of gets on my nerves or something like that, I go to the comment section because I'm wondering, what kind of people are watching this channel or that channel. So, um, and these, like I said, it's in the public domain. So that is something that should always be considered when one is making comment, because it can be anywhere at any time. And the the tabloids sometimes take the comments and they just plaster them inside of the article just to drive a point or just to create more engagement. So when they have a story and they don't have much to say, sometimes they pull from the Twitter. And that also goes to show you something too, is that sometimes the articles that they write is actually structured around the comments that they've read. You know what I mean? So they could take your comments or anybody's comments, and structure their entire article around the comment section about whatever other, you know, tweets or Instagram, Facebook. They do take those things and they will share them in the article if it helps them to make the case or to tell the story. So as Beverly McCaskill said, just watch what you put down. And yes, anything can be taken out of context. So um, it's just one of those things that we have no control over. Okay, so Prince William is stepping back from his royal duties to care for Kate Middleton. A source tells ET that Prince William visited his wife nearly every day while she was recuperating at the hospital, and has been picking up and dropping off their children at school to keep their schedules as normal as possible. Well, well, well. I can believe the whole thing about the school run, right? I have no choice but to believe it because I'll never know any difference. Because, mercifully enough, the media does not dare observe or film or record anything to do with the children and their trip to school. And I'm glad that they leave the kids alone. Whatever my personal feelings are, leave those babies out of it. They have nothing to do with how ignorant, cruel, and mean spirited William is, or how much of a mean girl Kate is. It has nothing to do with those children. I hope they don't know how their parents really are. But that being said, um, as for the hospital, I don't believe it. I don't believe it. The start of the day, dropping off and picking up from school, that is a very short day. So either William would have had to have gone in midday to go to the hospital and back, or William would have gone after school, after while they're doing their homework with the nanny or nannies, and then make it back in time for supper. Also, not likely, but I don't even think he went to the hospital because there may have been no one to see at the hospital. This whole thing has been a PR disaster. The only reason why it's not being spoken about with blanket coverage is because of the invisible contract. But this has been very, very much a complete disaster. It has been mismanaged from start to finish. And it seems as though Charles timed his, um, I don't know if you can call it elective surgery, but it was pre scheduled surgery that he could have done at any given time. He could have done that a week from now or a month from now. They were just going in there to give him some relief, non cancerous. There was no urgency to it. But it just does not make sense that a senior member of the royal family has had a abdominal surgery, which sounds like an emergency, but they say it wasn't. It was a planned surgery, however they put it. And then 90 minutes later, Charles says, "Guess what? You know what? I can't believe this coincidence. I have been having trouble trying to tinkle for the longest. Can you believe that I'm having trouble with my prostate? And I am going to check into that very same hospital um, a day or two after she gets there so that I can get some stuff done too. And we're just going to coincidentally and without any pre planning or anything like that, it's just, a matter of luck. I'm going to be there too. Yep. And I'm going to leave the hospital on the very same day, on the very same moment when she leaves. Now, do you see why I say this is so hard to believe? It would actually, um, the public would find it very troubling to know that two senior members of the royal family are in the hospital at the same time, one having a uh, very important, very dangerous abdominal surgery, and the other one having this, pre scheduled surgery that could have happened at any given time this month or the next. But still, there is risk with surgery. So you are letting the public know that two senior members of the royal family are going to be anesthetized and they are going to have surgery, one greatly more, risky than the other. But still, it seems like you would wait until the all clear and then say, okay, now that Kate is out of danger, I'm going to go in for a scrape, a nip, and a tuck, or whatever they're going to do. I'm next. Instead of making the announcement on the same day and at some point being in the same hospital at the same time. I feel like Columbo, but I'm just having a problem with that. Leg says, if Kate is at her parents', how is Will caring for her? Here, here. How is that possible that she's at her parents' house and simultaneously he's caring for her? Oh, by the way, Lorna, I hope I gave you a bell. Thank you so much for your comment. But yeah, how is that possible? The reason why it's possible is because it's impossible. I just don't think it's likely at all. I mean, I can't say it's impossible, but I just don't think it's likely. It just seems weird. And everything about it seems as though Charles was giving cover for his son and daughter in law's mismanaged PR exercise. That's what it seems like. Yeah, right. 1960. What hospital? Because none of the Rhoda have gotten a single photo of Will's visiting or of Kate leaving the hospital. Thank you for saying the, by the way. And something smells as bad as Trump's diaper. Exactly. It just seems strange. If something seems too good to be true, then it probably is. You got Rebecca English doing all of this follow up commentary. Will is Kate's rock, and he will bend heaven and earth to be there. And we only see him once. Charles has chosen this hospital because it's going to save the taxpayers money, right? So that was a way of trying to explain why Charles was there at the same time. If we go, because I'm pretty sure if me, a layperson, is asking the question, why both of them at the same time? Why would they do that? Then of course you would have a Rebecca English follow up with, well, he just wanted to save the public some money. Charles, who just got a huge raise from the sovereign grant, whatever the money comes from, the sovereign grant, he's just got this huge raise, right? Uh, Considering that he has a huge raise for the slim down monarchy for just a few key operatives within the royal family, he's taken this raise, a raise which I'm sure he didn't need, but he's taken this raise, and there's fewer people. They're working less. They have little to show for all of the money they're taking in. When did Charles, I guess my question is, when did he ever care about how much stuff costs and what it looks like? When has Charles ever cared or shown any concern for how much something costs and what does it look like? Um, I wouldn't say that he's necessarily frugal. Like Charles, who took a vintage car, the one that Harry drove on his wedding day. Well, that car belonged to Charles. And that vintage automobile, I believe they stripped the innards out and replaced it with an electric motor, right? Not cheap. Now, in the world of sustainability, that was a very good thing to do. As a matter of fact, it was a very thoughtful thing to do. However, you and I could probably never afford to take a vintage open top roadster that we love, strip it of all of its mechanics, and replace it with an electric motor. We don't have the resources for that. That is a rich man's folly, right? So he could just have given up the car if he was so morally outraged, or put it in a museum. I mean, it is a vintage car, but instead, just for fun, he decided to strip out the old internal combustion engine and put in a highly efficient electric motor. You and I do not have that option. So that's a rich man's folly. And my point is, what does he care about how much something costs, especially security? So much of what the royal family cost is hidden in the cost of security. And that is why they say they receive, 117 million pounds or whatever, when the actual number is more like 350 million pounds. And yes, that level of security for multiple properties that are protected, heated, and maintained year round costs about 350 million pounds. If 500 Trader Joe's stores brings in billions of US dollars a year, then a handful of royal vintage um, uh, what is it, listed properties, class one or two listed properties, yeah, that costs a heap of money. So what does he care? So that's why when you see something like, well, Charles just wanted to save some money. No, that was just some spin. That was just royal rota spin to explain the necessity for Charles to be at the same hospital at the same time. I'm just not buying it. That does not make sense. That doesn't make sense. Having all of the royals in one place, I would say that makes the country vulnerable. If you're uh, if you feel like you need a royal family, then for security's sake, you wouldn't want everybody in the same place at the same time. And let them tell it. William was there, Charles was there, Camilla was there, and Kate was there. Four senior members of the royal family were in that hospital at one time. Right. At any given time. Right. It seems like there may have only ever been one person staying there and one person at a time making a visit. That's what it seems like. This really stinks. Thank you so much, 1960. Didn't know I was going to go on that rant. Lex says William is staying out of public to avoid questions. Legs, that is brilliant. That is brilliant. You are absolutely right. And I heard that from someone else earlier. Actually, did you say that yesterday? I think, because that's not the first time I heard it. But yes, that makes so much sense. If you want to avoid uncomfortable questions, then stay the out of the public. Oh, you know what? I don't have my good microphone plugged in. I wanted to cut the. It's hot in here. I think I'm going to put the AC on. And I'm just like, oh, I need to get away so I can. Oh, well, it's not that hot, but I'm hot. Okay. Yeah, look at that. I'm getting so worked up. I'm getting hot. But yeah, so um I could even get a snack right now if I wanted to. But yes, you are so right. He just wants to avoid people asking about Catherine, someone he doesn't seem to care so much for, even though the press are trying to convince us that he is this devoted partner. But I'm with you. I believe that he wants to avoid anyone asking about that's that Cockney way you say it. They don't want people to ask about I love it. That is brilliant. I love it. Okay. I'm going to plug in the other microphone because I think it sounds better. So let me see. Okay, it looks like you can hear me. All right, I think this sounds better. So I'm just going to do that just to say I did. Okay. All right, so give me a thumbs up if that sounds better. If not, I'll unplug it. Right. Thank you so much, Legs. Thank you for the brilliant comment. And TMCD, thank you so much for becoming a member. And thank you so much for using the One Love image for your profile picture. Thank you so much for that. I love it. Thank you. Okay. Lottie says, Baron, everybody is lying. They know darn well Kate is at her mama's house. You know, until there is unimpeachable proof that Kate was at that hospital, and as I said yesterday, I don't feel terrible about asking questions. I'm not saying any of this is a certainty, but I don't feel bad about asking the questions because they really, really messed up with the rollout of this information. It was contradictory from the start. It started off a huge contradiction. Kate is having surgery. It's none of your business. It's abdominal surgery. It's none of your business. Right? Number two, Charles is having surgery. Yes, we are going to go to his nether regions because he's having trouble with his prostate. So you have full disclosure from the senior member of the family, and you have another senior royal who wants to keep everything private while she's living off of public money, right? That is how it started. So don't blame me or anybody else for saying something is not right. This seems rather odd the way this has been introduced, as though there has been a question mark over it or an asterisk from the very beginning. That's how I feel about it. It seems like a huge asterisk from the very beginning. So, thank you, Lottie. Lorna Williams says Edwina is also taking a break after South Africa. Yes, yes. And I tried to find some more information about that, and I could not. But we all know that Edwina has been looking mighty po for the past couple of years. Those boxy suits, and he just looks different. He doesn't look very robust. So much so that it's alarming. Almost, actually, I would say equally as alarming as Kate's appearance has been in the past few years. So yes, that is alarming. That is alarming. It almost makes you wonder: are they going to be down yet another senior royal while still taking in this huge sum of money? Lydia Washington says Baron Margaret is currently in hospital and listening per Verda Sanchez. Is that right? Can you send her prayers for healing as well, please? Absolutely, absolutely. Yes, Margaret, we are praying for you, and we wish you well. And again, you know, thank you for knowing that you could reach out to this safe space for prayer, and we are with you. And get back to us as soon as possible, but take whatever time you need to heal. That is very important. And if they want you up, do everything you can to get up. If they need you to lay still, then lay still. But so much of it is just prayer. So much of it is prayer, but it's also doing everything that we can. So, wow, this is very interesting because, yeah, I know of a few people away from the Royal Sussex in my life that's been struggling as of late. So, maybe that's just the way this year was meant to start, but hopefully by the end of the year, we can all kind of look back and say, wow, that was a rough time, but um, I'm feeling better and I'm hoping everyone else is feeling better. Hopefully that's the way this year goes. I pray it does. So thank you so much, Lydia Washington, and all the best, Margaret. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being a part of this community. Ruth Lopez says there's a report out that Kate is staying at her parents' house because LA Cottage. Yeah, I'm going to get to that. I am definitely going to get to that. Okay. Leg says William doesn't care about the transparency, doesn't want people to know his diversity numbers are people to see how money is spent. He acts like a dictator, which is what I thought about William at the Kensington Palace. I think that so much of the problems at Kensington Palace was because of him. I think that he was the root of the problems at Kensington Palace, that he had taken this very hardline control of everything that happened there. And for someone who is so cruel and mean and immature to have that much power over everyone, because he's the senior most member of the family that has been living at Kensington Palace in the largest apartment at Kensington Palace. And I believe that the staff that worked for the Sussexes, and of course for his brother and his brother's wife, I'm pretty sure that the reason why they were in tears, the reason why they were physically ill, was not because of Meghan, but the very tough position that they were put in because of William. I've always believed that. I've always believed that. Yep, I always believe that. Thank you so much, Lex. Gracie Mfawabi says Baron Charles was in same hospital because the surgery was buy one give one. Yes, it was a twofer. It was a twofer. Two for the price of one. It was a twofer. You could have one imaginary procedure done, and if you both come in at the same time, you could have two. And here's the catch: one of you don't even have to be here. And if you sign up today, you are free to bring your emotional support companion in and out several times in the same day just to troll other members of the family. That's right, just to troll other members of the same family. B. Martin says, so he took the prince money to pay for Randy's security. Uh, well, as you know, we suspected that Charles has probably had some kind of agreement with his mother, something that may have been put into writing, just like the whole thing about Edward becoming the Duke of Edinburgh. Edward, there was that, and I've shared that with you all before. There was that document that Charles and the Queen and everybody agreed to, and then there was a public thing put out there, a statement declaring that when Prince Philip died, then the title of the Duke of Edinburgh would be conferred upon Edward and Sophie. So in the meantime, they would be known as the Count and Countess of Wessex, right? You know, Prince Andrew, I'm sorry, Edward, the Count of Wessex. They used the Wessex title. And now, of course, that the title has gone to Edward, um, from what we hear, the title cannot be passed on to Edward's child. So there you go. So thank you so much, Gracie. I'm sorry, B. Martim. And thank you so much for watching Royal Sussex and for being a member of Royal Sussex. Okay. Oh, wow. I'm so far behind with the comments. Way behind. All right. Okay. Okay. I think we're good. Myra V says William is trying to prove that Harry is a liar about the invisible contract. William isn't cooperating with the press, and the media is not putting him down. Well, that would be very hard to uh, establish something that is obviously in place because William, who was, being dragged by the press, Kate, who was being dragged by the press, ever since he's taken that money, that settlement from Rupert Murdoch's paper, then all of a sudden the bad press has gone away. And now that he's so much closer to the throne, they really can't afford to drag him. They have to treat him with kid gloves because he's going to be king. No matter how unprepared he is going to be king, which is unfortunate. So I've shared some of these before, but one of the squatties has made these for both Prince William and for the Princess of Wales, and it is the greediest parasite on earth. He proves nothing of value. I'm sorry, provides nothing of value, but his sense of entitlement knows no bound. He's a billionaire with a parasitic wealth through no sweat of his own, but still demands millions in public funding for his extravagant, lavish, and pampered lifestyle. Hashtag abolish the monarchy. Wow. And that's a sentiment that is growing every day. Every day. So, pardon me. Um, the closer he gets to the throne, the more unpopular he is becoming. And I would say that it's only because of this hate campaign that has been orchestrated by the British tabloid media that he has any popularity at all. Because if people ever got to know the real William, they'd be very much disappointed. They'd be shocked. But he's still riding on that wave of popularity from being Diana's son. And, the people who find that very important, the royalists and such, they they're hanging on to that. They're hanging on to that little piece of his history, and they're using that as some indicator of how great he's going to be as king. But his youth is slowly fading. Pretty soon he's going to look about as old as his daddy, and as time goes by, and especially, I tell you all, if there's ever any question about what happened in that house between Christmas Day and now, if there's ever any question about that, based upon the articles that has been written in the past about him being incandescent, based upon articles based upon that, as well as what we know from Spare by Prince Harry, we know how he is. If there's ever any opportunity for someone to write an honest assessment about his character, if the so called body language experts would ever turn their gaze toward him and give an honest assessment, then it would be a lot of trouble for the institution. The monarchy will definitely, there definitely would be problems with the monarchy. That's why I said yesterday, um, I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility that he may end up with a regent himself because he doesn't seem competent for the job. It is so obvious that the two of them are so um, ill suited, unfit for purpose, and yet they perpetuate this idea that they are some type of dynamic duo that's just capable of a multitude of things, and the press know better. And it even seems like they want to tell us something, but they just can't. And I'll share a couple of things about that later. Lex says, anyone notice since Harry called out the press for lying about the Christmas invite that they get a leak from Buckingham Palace or Kensington Palace and say that Harry and Meghan leaked it? It's their PR now. I did not notice that, but thank you so much for your comment. I did not notice that. Huh. I'm going to check into that. Thank you so much. I will check into that. Okay. All right, let me continue. So, going to take a little bit of a break from that, but we'll get back to it. Record breaking Suits and Bluey named, is that Bluey? Named most streamed shows of 2023? I guess it is. Well, Suits, the hit legal drama starring the future Duchess of Sussex, sets new U.S. streaming records. Well, anyway, we talked about that yesterday. So, let me see. Did you say soon he'll look as old or or now? Well, soon. He's got a. It'll be a minute before he gets that close, but he's already starting to crack. But thank you so much for your super chats. He's already starting to show signs of wear. So this happened. Meghan Markle's Suits co-star reignite reboot rumors as they reunite to star in Super Bowl commercial that sees them spoofing the legal drama, but the Duchess of Sussex is nowhere to be seen. Gina Torres, Rick Hoffman, and Sarah Rafferty will star in a new ad for Elf Cosmetics that will air on CBS during the Super Bowl on February the 11th, and the makeup company shared a sneak peek. Well, you know what, guys? It should be said that they would not spend that much money. Well, let me see. Yeah, they would not spend that much money. And I guess when I say they, I mean Elf. They wouldn't spend that much money if they didn't think it was going to bring in some profit. And because the cast of Suits is kind of like the it cast, everybody's talking about Suits' huge success streaming more, or should I? Yeah, their streaming being more popular or more viewed than that of The Office. And you know what I learned today? Someone said earlier that Suits, the has only been streaming on Netflix for what, 6 months, and in 6 months they gotten far more views than The Office has. Well, not that much more, but they're trending in that direction. But they have more views than The Office, which has been streaming all year. So in 6 months they surpass The Office. That is extraordinary. So if you're wondering why are they going to be featured in a Super Bowl ad, because they are incredibly popular right now. They are so popular that some members of the cast who, since they the last episode of Suits aired, they could travel places and go to other countries and such, and people didn't know who they were. But because of Netflix's reach around the world, and because of you know, the hoopla and all of the abuse that has gone on for Suits, now people notice everybody. I mean, the least known of the cast gets big attention in places where they did not expect. So that is very nice. And just for the cast and crew, everyone as artists and filmmakers or whatever, um, that more people are seeing your work. They're able to see your work. They're able to reach out to you and say, "Hey, I like what you do. Thanks for the work you do." That has got to mean a lot, especially since the strike and everything, and how much that cost everyone to have come out of that and surpassed even The Office. I think that's incredible and very well deserved. And now more people will have a chance to see how brilliant everyone on the show is, and especially for us, the Sussex squad. I'm so glad to have this opportunity for people to see Meghan's performance and to see her, as a human being and not this characterization that was created by the tabloid media. You cannot beat that. So, cheers to them for, humanizing someone who is very human in the first place. But legions of fans have watched Suits, and there have been quite a few people who said, "I did not realize that um, Meghan Markle on Suits is the same as the Duchess of Sussex." So, in other words, I didn't recognize her from this monster that they have conceived of in their small little minds on Fleet Street. Yeah, I think that's what they're trying to say. But great opportunity for Meghan to have people get to know her as she, as the artist that she is, as the humanitarian and such. I mean, there's so many facets to Meghan that people don't know. They have this gross characterization that was created by the tabloid media and by those monsters at Kensington Palace. And yeah, so All right. So thank you so much again, everyone, for being here. And Elaine Parker, thank you so much for the super sticker. And Elaine Parker, I don't know if you were listening on the replay yesterday, but anytime I'm talking about facts about the royal family, I'm always looking to see if Elaine Parker approves. I'm always checking to see if you approve. So when you're not here, I definitely miss you for that reason, among other things. But yeah, but thanks again. Let me see. Let me see. Lex says, Baron Richard Eden did it the other day when he was bashing Harry and Meghan, and Good Morning Britain did it when the palace leak that made up the story that Harry and Meghan were going to call uh, a tampon on his birthday. It was yes, yes, and of course um, the whole thing about Harry and Meghan reaching out to Charles and Kate with these medical crises or issues or whatever, and that was a lie. So yeah, yeah, I get what you're saying. That was a lie as well. So they have been, like Harry said, we were away for a year, and the leaking and the briefing continued. We went on Oprah to straighten out things, to tell our truth, and we were hoping that that would be the end of it. And still, there was continued leaking and briefing, and that just has not stopped. That has not stopped. And it seems as though a lot of it is orchestrated from Kensington Palace. But yeah, thank you for that. Okay. All right. Let me see here. Let me continue. So that's it right there. Sarah Rafferty, Gina Torres, and Rick Hoffman for Elf Cosmetics. See you in court. And that is February the 11th. So let me see, did I save that soundbite? Let me see if I save that soundbite. Uh, mm-mm. Oh, I did not. I did not. I guess I didn't have the intention of doing it either, so maybe that's why I don't have it. But yeah, they just in the little preview of the commercial, someone hands them that card and they say, "Oh, I've been served," right? And then the next one says, "I've been served," and then last, Gina Torres says, "I've been served. See you in court." So they are wetting your chops for the Super Bowl commercial. So that should be fun. That should be fun. So I'm glad for them. I'm so glad that they have this chance to let other people see their extraordinary work, and also that there's supposed to be a reboot. People are saying that there may be a reboot. So let's see how that goes. Now, back to this spot of bother. Kate may not stay at freezing Adelaide Cottage as Mike and Carol Middleton eager to help. Did you all know it was freezing over at Adelaide Cottage? That same Adelaide Cottage that they said didn't need any work, that it was all ready to move into. Yea, though it might be smaller than what we're accustomed to, the largest apartment in Kensington Palace, Admiral Hall, that property up in Balmoral that there are no photos of, and of course, now the Adelaide Cottage, which, according to the satellite, has an adjacent building next to it, even though they made this big stink about there won't be any room for the nannies, there won't be room for staff. Well, if you have a staff of 62 people, I suppose there isn't any space for them. But, there's a but coming out of my mouth. Can you hear that but coming out of my mouth? But, actually, what was I about to say? Oh, yeah. But they said that there's There's no way that she can stay at that freezing Adelaide cottage. Well, if it's so cold, how are the children staying there? Why come the child protective services haven't been called out? Now you guys have to hear this to believe it. I promise you, this is a doozy. You have to hear it to believe it. This is why I say I don't know why anybody believes anything that they say, because it all sounds so made up. It sounds so contrived. It sounds so fake and phony. How can anybody trust or believe what they say? So GB News brought on a talking head, and anyway, let me see. Play what he had to say about this. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. I just don't believe it. The way they are trying to create this scenario where, for the sake of Kate's life, there's no way she could possibly stay at Adelaide Cottage, even though they swore it was fit for purpose and ready to move into. Isn't that why they conspired to make sure the Sussexes didn't get it? Right? Remember, there was actually an article which said that the Queen was going to give the Sussexes Adelaide Cottage. And then all of a sudden, the hateful Cambridges intervened, and they had to wait until Frogmore was ready.
Good afternoon, Britain. It's 20 to 2, and Catherine, the Princess of Wales, has left hospital almost 2 weeks after having abdominal surgery. A statement issued by Kensington Palace said the princess has now returned to her home in Windsor and is making good progress.
Yes, the statement also read, the Wales family continues to be grateful for the well wishes they have received from around the world, and they have received hundreds of thousands, millions. Let's now speak to former royal correspondent and writer Michael Cole. Michael, good news.
Yes. Emily, good afternoon, and good afternoon to you, Tom. I'm sure I speak for us all when I wish Catherine, Princess of Wales, a speedy and complete recovery. They said it would be 2 weeks, and it has been 2 weeks, 13 nights she's been in hospital. Make no mistake, this is a serious matter. They don't keep you in hospital that long for a minor complaint. Quite rightly, the press office of Kensington Palace has issued no further information as to the real cause for the surgery, and that's right and proper. She's entitled to her privacy. She is a wife, a mother, a daughter and a sister, and like any other woman, she's entitled to keep private medical information to herself. It was interesting, there was no departure photo call, and she's gone off straight to Adelaide Cottage in the middle of Windsor Great Park to recuperate. That, of course, is where her children are. They go to school locally, and she'll want to be there, but it's not an ideal place for recuperation and convalescence. It's not terribly big. In fact, there's no room inside the house for the nanny. She has to live in an outbuilding. And one of the former tenants, Mrs. Rosemary Townsend, the wife of Group Captain Peter Townsend, who had an affair with Princess Margaret, she said that Adelaide Cottage was the coldest place she'd ever known on earth. So maybe they won't stay.
It's the coldest place she'd ever known on earth. The coldest place she'd ever known on earth.
Big. In fact, there's no room inside the house for the nanny. She has to live in an outbuilding. And one of the former tenants, Mrs. Rosemary Townsend, the wife of Group Captain Peter Townsend, who had an affair with Princess Margaret, she said that Adelaide Cottage was the coldest place she'd ever known on earth. So maybe they won't stay there for that long. And of course, Catherine's parents have a larger house not far away in Berkshire. But let's hope she's on the way to recovery. There will be no public appearances, at least before Easter. and the Prince of Wales is cutting back his programme so that he can be there looking after his wife, which is absolutely right and proper, and caring for the children in the very modern way.
And Michael, just briefly, this has been an extraordinary time for senior royals, because on the very same day, practically within an hour of learning that the Princess of Wales was going to hospital, we learned that the King would have his own visit to hospital too. But now that's over and done with, and the King will be getting back to duties in the coming weeks.
Yes, indeed. I was on your programme, on this very programme, about to talk about the Prince of Wales and the Church of England when the news came through that Catherine had gone into hospital, if you remember.
Yes,
and then an hour later, we had the King, or 90 minutes later. Quite extraordinary. And of course, we mustn't forget Sarah, Duchess of York. She's also been undergoing treatment and hospitalisation at a clinic in Austria for her skin cancer. All very serious. The good things, if there are good things in these, is that we've been assured on 2 occasions that there was nothing cancerous about the King's prostate or about whatever it is that ails the Princess of Wales. So that's extraordinarily good news. But it is, they say things come in threes sometimes, don't they? Bad news. And I think that's probably what we've had. But there are. The King will be out in a couple of days at least. It's quite interesting. Quite often after a prostate procedure of this kind, people are out of hospital in a day or two. But obviously the surgical team, I'm sure that the top people in the profession are making sure that he's okay before he leaves. And then it will be quite a long period, a whole month before he's back fully functioning on all cylinders. But he'll be carrying on with the work of state, signing the papers that are needed to be signing and doing his red boxes. So we're on the upward slope now.
Excellent. Thank you very much for...
Oh, well, like I said, you could hear the propaganda as it was pouring out of his mouth. The coldest place on earth. Now, you see what I mean? They really, really are reaching right there. Leg says, are they doing money fights? Where's the heat? Oh, man. Thank you so much, Legs. The coldest place on earth. The coldest place on earth. Yes, Church Nelly, you heard that too. Hundreds of thousands around the world. Millions. Yes, hundreds. She said hundreds of thousands first, and then she said millions of greetings from around the world. B. Martin says, wait, so you kicked out someone living there to have it now 4 years later. It's cold. Exactly. The coldest place on earth. Now remember, they said that place was ready to move into. Ready to move into. They didn't even have to do any. And see, of course, that was said because when they formally took the Adelaide Cottage, at the time they were complaining, the tabloids were complaining about the Sussexes having a renovation or restoration on Frogmore, which was scheduled even before the Queen said that she was going to give it to them. Frogmore is a level 2 or whatever listed property, grade 2 listed property. And listed means that you cannot change certain elements of the property, right? And because it's listed, they had to add things like a floating floor so not to disrupt the original cobblestones. And there's a lot that has to remain authentic as possible when you're dealing with a listed property. Frogmore was already scheduled for restoration, right? And the Sussexes, they paid for all the innards, all of the extra stuff that they wanted. They paid for that themselves, not the Crown Estate, not the Queen, none of them. They paid for the stuff that they wanted. But this continued harassment And for those of you that are new to the Sussex squad, that are new to Harry and Meghan, this is Frogmore. Frogmore is a servant's cottage, just like Nottingham Cottage. During his time as an adult in that family, Harry had only ever lived in a working, I'm sorry, a peasant's, what do you call it? A servant's property. Anytime a property has the name cottage, when it has to do with the royal estate, when it says cottage, that means it's a grace and favor property, meaning that you live there on the whim of the monarch, right? At the pleasure of the monarch. That means that when Dickie Arbiter was the press secretary for the Queen, he and Victoria Arbiter, Vicky Arbiter, they lived in a grace and favor property. There are probably, I don't know, it could be hundreds of people that live in those grace and favor properties. And you never hear that they live in such and such house, they live in such and such cottage. It doesn't mean that the royals from time to time will not live in one of those cottages, like Adelaide Cottage. I only think that they wanted Adelaide Cottage as a second home for the Cambridges because they were not going to be under the same roof at the same time all the time. Whatever they say, they have several properties. So Adelaide Cottage is really for while the kids are going to school. And right now, we don't know. There are people that have speculated that William may actually have taken up residence at the Windsor Castle. And the reason why I say that is because there's nobody else there. There's no other member of the royal family living at Windsor Castle right now. The world's poshest public housing project or a housing council housing estate is Kensington Palace, which is several buildings. Several buildings. That is a very posh housing project for those of you in the US, and for those of you in the UK, council housing. But it's very posh, meaning that you don't own those properties, you just are leasing them from the crown. It is part of the crown estate. Doesn't belong to the monarch, it belongs to the crown. So they have many properties. They can be anywhere. And so why would Will cram into Adelaide Cottage with the rest of them if he can just pop over to Windsor? For all we know, the rest of the family could be living in between both properties under whatever arrangement or agreement. We just don't know. It's all very vague, but we just don't know. But William could be living at Windsor Castle. And the only reason why I say that is because, remember, they were talking about moving there. And I think Charles put a stop to it, but they were talking about taking the family to Windsor. And then next thing you know, they settled on Adelaide Cottage. But I think the whole thing about Adelaide was just to make sure that Meghan and Harry didn't have anything nice. So they had to wait until the renovation of the Frogmore was complete. Thank you, B. Martin. Yeah, it's pretty shady. It is very shady the way that these things have worked out. Well, yeah, it is true. It's a very posh housing project. That's what Kensington Palace is depressing. It is one of the most depressing properties I've ever been to. I have seen a lot of places in the UK. As you know, I love architecture. And I didn't feel the sadness that came over me until I got to Kensington Palace. I couldn't help but think about everything that Diana went through, and all the problems. And it was just awful. It was just awful. So let me see if I can find that article about Adelaide Cottage. Queen gift Adelaide Cottage to Harry and Meghan. See if I can find that. But I do have the article. I do have the receipt. You know, you always keep the receipts when you're dealing with these people because they change stuff. You know what I mean? They will change stuff. William and Kate choose their new home. Cambridges will move to family into humble 4-bedroom Adelaide cottage in Windsor with no live-in staff. Do you know how that sounds to working class people? Do you know how that actually sounds to working class people? Oh, okay. I tell you what, I got a couple things that I'm going to share with you all. I have a couple of things I will share. There's that one. Oh man, I don't see that one from the Queen with Harry and Meghan. And I know I have it, I just don't have time to try to find it. But I know that the Queen was going to give that to them. And then I think William stepped in, and then it just didn't happen. Hmm. Oh, okay. No, not that one. Let me see. I want to show you. I want to show you what Adelaide Cottage looks like from above, so you can see what we were talking about when I said that there was more to the property than what they're pretending. Hmm. It is a nice house, though. I'll tell you that much. Adelaide Cottage is a very nice property. Nice if you can afford it, or if you can get it, or if it's gifted to you. It is very nice. Okay. All right. So I'll do that one then. I will do that. There is 1642 in here. Please don't forget to hit that like button while I grab this image of Adelaide Cottage to share with you. While you hear them complaining about how small it is and how underwhelming it is. There, and you know what's so strange about it is away from the public. So you don't, a lot of these properties, as famous as they are, and as much as we talk about them, there are very few photos of the actual properties. There are very few photos. We don't have many of them to share for obvious reasons because they don't make it available to you. So there's not a lot to share. Oh, there we go. There we go. All right, so let me put that in. And I will share this image of Adelaide Cottage with you. Bear with me 1 second here. So take a look there. You see that arrow? You see that arrow? Well, that is the house. The white building with the two parts, that is the Adelaide Cottage. And it was built for, was it Princess Adelaide? That was never really built as a servant's quarter as much as it was built for one of the, I think it was one of Queen Victoria's children, right? Princess Adelaide or something like that. But then if you look behind it there is the servant quarters. So even though they're not under one roof, what are they talking about that there's no room for the servants? And this property is protected 24 hours a day. This is part of the Windsor Great Park. This huge, vast property is for the pleasure of the royal family and, of course, the courtiers and such, the staff that use it. But this huge property, could just imagine you had a house in Central Park. Yes, there's a city around, yeah, but you have a house in Central Park, and the public is not allowed to just walk onto your property. And this was about half a mile, I think, from the Frogmore Cottage. but it's not so small. I think a family of 5 should be able to easily fit into that property with room to spare. It may not have been what they're accustomed to. And what gets me is that they can say these things and the public just, they don't even bat an eye. They just accept it. They just accept it as though, oh, well, they are royals. They just accept it. There's no question about it. There's no pushback. Or is there? Or is there pushback? Okay, not much, but when they moved into Adelaide Cottage, to my surprise, one of the tabloids, one of the Royal Rotas, actually wrote an article about it, saying how many properties do they need? Right there. How many homes do they need? How many homes? How many more homes can the slim down royals justify at a time of an exploding cost of living crisis affecting working families up and down the country? Having 3 royal residents looks clumsily insensitive, writes, yes, Richard Kay. Richard Kay wrote that. And there's Adelaide Cottage, there's the Kensington Palace, and there's Anmer Hall. Look at the size of Anmer Hall. And the family that was living at Anmer Hall was evicted by the Queen because Will and Kate wanted something close to Sandringham. And this is also something that's important to note. Whenever William wants to go to any of those properties, he could take the helicopter. They don't drive in between properties. Why would they? There's no question about the excessive use of helicopters. Charles and William, the eco warriors, routinely use their helicopters day after day after day. And because of the invisible contract, nothing is said about it. But if Harry hitches a ride on a private jet that is going that direction anyway, they hunt down the tail number, they look at the manifest, they can tell you how many people are on the jet, which direction it was going, who owns it, all of that stuff. But when it's the royals, the rest of the royal family, they totally avoid any mention of it. But William is taking helicopters from one posh, luxurious property to the next. He's not driving. He only drives places where you can't put a helicopter down. That's the reason why he drove to the hospital. That hospital probably doesn't have a heliport. Otherwise, he would have flown there. Best believe he would have flown. So anyway, again, for you squaddies who don't know, they just really got interested in the Sussex squad, that is the properties that we're referencing. There is an additional property in Balmoral in Scotland at the Balmoral estate, but that one is rarely ever mentioned. But they have 4 properties. And of course, being the Prince of Wales, I'm pretty sure if William wants access to, as a matter of fact, when they did that podcast with the Tyndalls, right? When they did that podcast, they were at Windsor Castle. When they are having these meetings and such, whenever they do like a podcast or an interview, they're at Windsor Castle, not Buckingham Castle Palace, but Windsor Castle. So which one of them is actually living there? I bet you the kids have bedrooms there. Bet you they do. Okay. Raffaella Bertoni, thank you so much for the super sticker. And thank you so much for watching Royal Sussex. Thank you for being here tonight. So here's a couple of voices of skepticism. January 30th, 2024, the UK press is itching to come out and say exactly what they know. Instead, they drop another nugget and use the excuse that the home Kate is living in, Kate and I'm sorry, the home that, let me just say, Kate Middleton and Prince William, their share isn't good enough. So now she'll be living with her parents separate from her husband. Right? Why are they dropping these breadcrumbs? Why are they like doing all this? And you guys, I have a doozy coming up. I have had second thoughts about even sharing it, but I will. I'll just couch it properly, so no worries. Well, I got something coming up I have got to show you. This was something that just kind of came out within the last hour or two, but let me get through this. Let me get through this. Um, but wait, isn't this the woman who says she loves swimming in cold water? The colder, the better. This soap opera has more twists and turns than Spaghetti Junction. These are quotes from Squatties. And then, of course, in the red caption there, Kate went on to reveal that surprisingly, she is a fan of cold water swimming. Cold water swimming has many health benefits and involves swimming during the winter season in outdoor locations or in unheated pools or lidos. Kate insisted cold swimming, the colder, the better. I absolutely love it. Isn't that something? Totally opposite from this idea that Adelaide Cottage is one of the coldest places on earth with record breaking low temperatures every year. How that family survives there and the staff, we don't know. But, okay. Yep. Okay. If that's what you say it is, if that's what you say it is, it's so cold she may not be able to stay there. And then on the bottom, you can see there, surely they could have. Oh, I can't even see that myself. Hold on a second. Let me see what that says. It says, surely they could have sent one of their 50 plus staff on some short drive out of the park to Windsor High Street where they can buy some heaters to warm the place. You know what? I didn't see that until just now. I forgot I even put that on there. But that's what it says. Surely they could have sent one of their staff members to the high street to go and find some heaters. Well, I can do better than that. What happened to those heaters that Queen Elizabeth had on all those photos? You guys know the Queen was a huge fan of space heaters. She always used them up in Balmoral. So why wouldn't they use one of those electronic furnaces that the Queen was using? I'm sure they're the best that money can buy. Helen Cole, I think Dole William working on divorce plans, which caused a mental breakdown suffered by Kate, allegedly. Well, that would make a lot of sense. It would definitely explain a lot. It would explain a lot. But I just couldn't see the two of them ever doing something like that because it would cost everybody so much. And plus, the only way that they could make that work is that they would have to build some incredible case against Kate. And I don't think that they would do that, especially having witnessed all the stuff that Diana had gone through. I just don't believe that they would do that, but it is looking really bad for her just the same. But yeah. But yeah, there's been a whole assortment of ideas that people have had, as evident by some of the stuff that I've shared so far. And because of this very highly secretive way that all of this stuff has unfolded, what else are people supposed to think? You leave yourself wide open for speculation because you won't tell the truth to put people's minds at ease. And even though I'm here for Harry and Meghan, I am very concerned. I'm very concerned. But, they're playing it the way they want to play it out. And I think eventually it's going to cost them in terms of the public perception of that family. It's really going to cost them. Thank you so much again for your comment. And let's see, Nedstag, thank you so much for 12 months membership. And thank you so much for being here. And Leg says Adelaide is cold without the key to get in. Yeah, it's just cold. Any place that they go is frigid. Any place that the Cambridges end up is going to be a very cold and dank and lonely place to be. Thank you so much for your comment. Just cold, frigid. Princess Kate will lean on her trusted nanny, Maria Borrala, during her recovery period. Princess Kate, yeah. So I showed you guys the nanny the other day. That is that lady from Spain or Portugal, wherever she's from. But she's like the head nanny. I'm pretty sure they've had more than one in the past, but I think the kids are more familiar with her than they are with some members of the family. Which, you know what? I've thought about this today, and I don't ever recall William having a conversation with Beatrice and Eugenie. You know how when they're on the balcony and stuff? I have never seen William have a conversation with his cousins. I've never seen Kate have a conversation with other members of the family. You never see it. And it's not to say that it doesn't happen. And everything that we have shared here has just really been a matter of opinion. We don't know anything for sure. We don't know any of these things for certain. But if the perception is, what we're seeing, I mean, our perception is based on what we see, what we have witnessed, then I don't know why it couldn't be true. I mean, you just could not say, 100%, oh, that's impossible. That can't be true. How would you know? How would you know? Especially since they're being so vague and ambiguous and withholding information, then what else is one to believe? Here. Very exciting. Thank you, Susie Mom. Now, you all, know that there's something about Tom Parker Bowles that frightens me. I don't know why it seems like he could just lean over and swallow his whole mother's head right now. I mean, that kid's face, his head, everything is freakishly large. Do you understand what I'm saying? I don't know why I'm picturing, what is his name? Michael Myers or Jason. I'm picturing like he should be wearing a leather mask or something, but he frightens me. It seemed like his mouth is much larger than a real person. It seems like his head is big enough to swallow an entire turkey and just swallow it whole. Yeah. I think that I would be afraid for pets or small children around him. It just seems like he could just gulp it down, just gulp. And next thing you know, somebody's schnauzer is missing. Freakishly large. Very, very bizarre. Yeah, very bizarre. Is that Crunch from Goonies? Let me see if I can bring up a photo. Crunch from Goonies. Oh my God. Oh my. I don't want to bring this photo up. I don't want to bring it up. Oh my God, it does look like him though. Oh my God, it does look like him. It does. It really, really does. Okay, there's a cartoon image. I'll share that one. I don't want to share like the other one, but there's a cartoon image that looks just like him. Oh, I'm not gonna sleep tonight. I know I am not gonna sleep tonight. This is gonna haunt my dreams. This is going to haunt my dreams. That is Crunch from Goonies. Yeah, that is gonna. Yes, it just seems like he could just swallow a person whole. There's something so bizarre about him. I thought his mother was a bit weird, right? I thought she was a bit weird. But this 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 person, this look at him. Look at him. I mean, yes. 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 It's like I could doze off right now and have a nightmare that he just kept walking toward me and I could not get away no matter what I did. That is the stuff of nightmares. That is the stuff of nightmares. I'm pretty sure that the day he was born, that the whole medical staff that delivered him hasn't been seen since. They have not been seen since. They have probably lost several nannies over the years. All they can find is their little shoe buckles and maybe a watch or something like that and some eyeglasses. You know, things that could not be digested. Yeah. I'm pretty sure that lots of metal objects comes out in his poop. Where there once was a person, now there's just like belt buckles and gold teeth fillings. Oh, that scares me. He's frightening. B. Martim, he's from the land of misfit toys. Oh, he scares me, guys. There's not many things that I'm afraid of, but he scares me. He does. He really does scare me. I can just I feel like people have come up missing. I really do feel like people have come up missing. Oh, oh, let me get this thing off the screen. Oh wait, I got this story to talk about. So, Queen Camilla picking her son for latest project sparks fury over shameless move. Yeah, Camilla has been busy. She's doing a power play. She's flexing. Queen Camilla picked her son for her latest project, a move which has been branded shameless by royal fans. Tom Parker Bowles, 49, is among 21 writers who have contributed to the contemporary literature in the new initiative supported by his mother. Initiative is part of the 100th anniversary of Queen Mary's Dollhouse, a gift from the nation to Queen Mary after World War I. Parker Bowles' book, a recipe that is from a queen, will join other titles by modern authors like Jacqueline Wilson and Alan Bennett to provide a snapshot of contemporary literature. The Dollhouse, which is one of the largest in the world, is still on display at Windsor Castle, featuring a library of miniature books from the 1920s. Queen Camilla's new project will select a library of modern books to complement the original manuscripts after it was announced that Tom Parker Bowles' book would be included, royal fans took to social media to react. One posted on X, shameless. Another wrote, in Britain, nepotism rules. Okay. And right here is, oh, let me go to the next one. Okay. And there it says, similarly, someone commented, Tom Parker Bowles get picked by his mom. What's the book called? Corruption. A royal watcher asked, did mommy get him the job? One social media user said, of course, keep it in the family. However, a couple of fans came to Parker Bowles' defense. One, well, we don't care about that. So anyway, I don't care about defending him, but look at the size of his face. Look, I bet you his mouth, measures about 12 inches from corner to corner. His mouth measures about 12 inches. You could take a ruler and put it in there sideways and not even touch the walls of his mouth. Such a strange looking person. Very bizarre. Yeah, ugh. Okay, I'm through. I'm getting the willies. Ugh. Let's see. King Charles family shows public support with sweet gesture after a health scare. King Charles may be taking a break. Anyway, let me just say, they're wearing that scarf that comes from the gift shop at the royal properties. That blue and beige or blue and tan scarf is a design from High Grove or something like that. I forgot what they call it, but that is a way that they're supporting Charles while Charles is trolling William and Kate, while Charles and Camilla are trolling William and Kate by showing them how a real couple conducts themselves when one is in hospital. Look at that. I went all day without saying it. When one is in hospital and the other is wherever he lives. Well. Looks like they went and got some new hair. Somebody's got some new hair. Yes. Angela Levin is wearing a new hair, a new wig. And if I did know better, I would think that Nana Akua has a new wig. And what intrigues me about their hair is that notice how boxy it is. Yeah, it doesn't really lay flat, does it? Angela's look like some type of centerpiece on the table, like somebody took a bowl from the table and just stuck it on their head. And then, of course, there is Nana. Nana is wearing that set of draperies on her head. I mean, it just, it doesn't seem like it move at all, which is interesting. But I would even say that she puts me in mind of the ancient Egyptians. Very interesting angle for one to find themselves looking. Yeah, very interesting. Oh, by the way, you guys, I did send a thank you, but I got some slippers from someone on the Royal Sussex gift wish list. You know, the kind that look like a boot, the kind that looks like a very heavy pair of socks, but they have the soles in them. I love those things. I've been wearing them for a couple of days, but I love those. So thank you so much. But there was a little gift thing, so I did forward a thank you. But that was a nice surprise. I went and picked it up from the mailbox, and I forgot that it was even on the list. So that is like my new favorite thing. Thank you very much. Okay. Lex says, does the mortician do their hair? Yes, it does kind of look like it does kind of remind me of a funeral home, funeral parlor. Well, turns out that their hair has been added to the endangered species list. Someone discovered a flat iron. Wow, B Martim, I can see you're in a bit of a sassy mood. Yes, it looks like somebody has just discovered the flat iron. Either that or they just discovered an iron. I mean, that just kind of looks like they took turns putting their heads on the ironing board. Like Nana's like, hey, okay, I better iron you. I can't even do it. And then, of course, Angela goes, hey, it's my turn. Make sure you get the ends because I want to look just like Megan. Well, everybody knows that. Well, Megan's a Hollywood actress, and I want my hair to look just like Megan. So I can look like a Hollywood actress. Yeah, so they took turns ironing each other's hair. Thank you, B. Martim. Yeah, but it is official. Now the hair is on the endangered species list. And just so you know, every year, Nana and Angela's hair migrates across huge, vast regions. Sometimes they migrate over um, the lower 48 states of the United States, making their way over Canada, Greenland, Iceland, and eventually settling down over the Baltic Sea. And then on some occasions, their hair has been known to make it all the way up the River Thames and into Greater London. So it is very important that we don't interfere with the migratory patterns of their hair and their lashes because, again, they are on the endangered species list. So we don't want to be the ones to cause um, a catastrophe where ancient species that formed some million years ago, we don't want to cause any problems. So avoid this, do not um, do not mess with any of those migratory wigs and lashes. You have a really, because see, the wigs and the lashes, they're part of a circle of life and they support the environment. And so if you enjoy eating honey or if you enjoy organic foods and such, do not interfere with the migratory patterns of those wigs and lashes because oh well. Oh wait a minute. Is Angela Levin wearing gold eyeshadow? It looks like the gold eyeshadow that Nana used to wear. Now it looks like Angela Levine is using it because y'all know Nana used to wear that gold eyeshadow. Ooh, she used to wear that gold eyeshadow. You couldn't tell her nothing, honey. When she was wearing that gold eyeshadow, she was hot to trot. I mean, hot to trot. Tell me you all have seen her with that gold eyeshadow. I was shocked. I'm just like, it is 2023. Why is this girl wearing gold eyeshadow? Well, I guess for 2024, she done turned it over to she done turned it over to her co-conspirator. But yeah, Nana used to rock that gold eyeshadow all the time. I'm here to tell you. Let me see if I can find an image of it. Nana with her gold eyeshadow. Let me see here. Nana and her gold eyeshadow. I think this one is. I think she has it on here. See what I mean? So now, well, it doesn't look the same on, but yeah, Nana was rocking that gold eyeshadow. And now her good girlfriend is wearing it. Of course, if you're really somebody's friend, you wouldn't allow them to leave the house with gold eyeshadow. But then again, Nana may not really be her friend. You never know what a person thinks of you until they watch you walk out the house with some gold eyeshadow. Oh, that's so bad. That is so bad. Oh, I got a really good example of it here. Hold on, let me get this picture up for you. Oh, you won't believe it. This is like super, super gold. Oh, poor Nana. You know, she just doesn't have a good taste. She doesn't have a good taste. And I bet you can't tell her nothing. Bet you can't tell her nothing. She's so glad to be on TV. Okay. Okay. Now I can show you a better example of it. There we go. I told you. Didn't I tell you? Solid gold. Yes, there's the gold eyeshadow. And now Nana's not wearing it, but her good girlfriend is. Wonder if she gave it to her for Christmas. Oh, I don't know if I can wear the gold eyeshadow. It's way too obvious effect, but well, I mean, if you think it really looks good on me, because I've always wanted to look like a Hollywood actress, and after all, Meghan is a Hollywood actress, so yeah, it didn't take much convincing before she put it on. Yep. I love that someone discovered a flat iron. That is funny. So, just so you know, guys, this is the truth, is that it is true that those wigs are on the endangered species list. As you can see, the number of endangered species is rising. Number of animal species on the what is that, international something red list by class. So wigs, mammals, reptiles, birds, insects, amphibians, mollusks, fish, and others. Well, as you can see right there, there's a red line at the bottom, and you can see it's been a very slow but persistent climb for wigs. Other invertebrate spineless animals, such as crustaceans, coral, and what is that? Arachnids, spiders and scorpions, Nana Akua, and Angela Levin, primarily. And this, again, the source is the red list. So as you can see right there, prominently mentioned on the endangered species list is Nana and Angela Levin. So that's why I say, you guys, you have to be very conscious of that, because you don't want the small things that we do have a huge impact on the environment. So now I have another soundbite for you. And again, thank you all so much for being here. Don't forget to hit the like button. And if you're thinking about becoming a member of Royal Sussex, our membership start as low as $4.99. That's right. For $4.99, you can help support Royal Sussex. I'm here every day, rain or shine.
I think that King Charles should abdicate, and I think that Prince William should step up and do the job.
Do you realise this is
Purely-
GB? This is GB News. Are you trying to get yourself cancelled?
Purely, listen,
I've got viewers now. Spat their tea out.
listen,
The king abdicates.
listen. Purely because I would love to see the reaction of Harry and Meghan.
All right.
Imagine how delicious that would be to see them foaming at the mouth over William becoming.
Why
king.
would they foam at the mouth? You're being completely ridiculous.
Well, they'd be wildly jealous, Nina, because
No, why
suddenly
would they?
Catherine
No.
would be queen.
No, so what? So absolutely what? But the thing is, my understanding is, Nicholas, that the king has waited this long to fulfill his role. He is not going to go easily. I mean, over his dead body, literally. He is not going to give up. And in terms of the engagements that he's carried out, he carries out about 3 or 4 times the engagements that William does. William is a bit of a shirker, I've always thought. You know, in an entitled shirker. I mean, the fact of the matter that he's supposed to be, taking the helm because Catherine's in hospital, and then he's cancelled, all his engagements too. Well, honestly, that seems ridiculous to me. He should be doing his share anyway. But I mean, he and Catherine do about a quarter of what the king does, and Anne. Those two are stalwarts. And as for the king slimming the monarchy down, well, he's overslimmed it. So that the fact of the matter is that the only royals they've got to traipse around and cut ribbons and open buildings or what have you are Camilla and Sophie, and those two are royals by proxy, if you like.
Well, interesting. I mean, Nicholas, I think that Peter spoke with his tongue in his cheek when he talked about Charles abdicating because he just wants to annoy the Sussexes, which it certainly would. But on a serious note, and I certainly don't want to call time on his reign because he's a very fit and healthy man with huge energy. I'm a big fan of King Charles, but will he go on and on like his dear mother, or do you anticipate that one day, a few years from now, he might step aside for his own son?
I can't really see it. I don't.
I think that King.
Okay, so as you can see, they can't even have a conversation like that without bringing the Sussexes into it. And the one who said that they would love to see the look on their faces, that's the person on the very far right side. The one that was doing most of the talking is the one with the yellow necktie. But anyway, this conversation was a very ridiculous exercise. And it just goes to show that they are really playing to their base. When they have conversations like that, they're playing to their base. They're playing to the angry royalists, the monarchists, should I say, the angry royalists and monarchists who have, for whatever reason, they believe that the Sussexes want to end the royal family. Harry supports the monarchy. Harry is a monarchist. That is Harry's birthright. And Harry believes in the good that the monarchy is capable of. Now, he is a very optimistic person. So far, the monarchy has been very self-serving. The monarchy can work and can do things for people, like with the Prince's Trust that Prince Charles has, that has benefited people. But then there's a lot of things that the monarchy gets wrong, like having heads of state that are dictators coming to visit for dinner. That actually helps to support some of the worst people in the world. And of course, if you want to really go back, let's talk about the transatlantic slave trade. There's a lot of things that monarchy has gotten wrong over the years. But I agree with Harry. Monarchy could be a great thing if it actually served the people. But they mostly serve themselves. Not everybody used their titles the way that Harry has used his in the past. Harry's title has given him access to the world. And even though he's not a working member of that family, he still has worked and projected humanitarianism, philanthropy, and so many other things where he's brought awareness to mental illness, mental health, the Invictus Games and such. He's done a lot without using his titles, just by being Harry. And most of the people in that family, they don't have that. They either have their titles and all the deference and respect that comes with it, or they have nothing at all. Harry is just talented, and so he can do things that the other people in that family just couldn't do. They could not survive on their own the way that he is. Even if they wrote a book, I don't think they would get very far. Even if they tried to enter into contracts and stuff, they would be reduced to selling used cars within a year. So that's the difference. So I can understand Harry's optimism, but he's very unique and individual. The rest of that family, they're you have the mean girl, his brother that is cruel, and his father who has gotten old and bitter and indecisive and so many other things I can't even describe. And then of course Camilla, who shouldn't be there at all, but that's how I sum it up. Now, this is that thing I wanted to share with you guys. I wasn't sure about this, but the timing of this is jarring. As we have been saying, there's lots of breadcrumbs. And at a time like this, why would you go back to an article from 2022? Right? Why would you go back to an article like that? And why insert her name? I'll share as much of this as I can. Pregnant primary school teacher, 26, suffers same morning sickness as Princess of Wales. And then, of course, it has the rest of that there. And I do apologize for, how that appears, but that is the story. And contributed to the deterioration in her mental health. And I just don't understand why that was a thing, right? And they do that a lot. They do stuff like this a lot. And I just shared with you all yesterday. It's almost like they're trolling. Like they're trolling the Cambridges or the Waleses or whatever they're called now. It's even as though they're being trolled. That's what it looks like. I'm not saying that's what it is, but that's what it looks like. Now, I'll show you what I mean by that. So, with all of the suspicion and all the doubt that people are having about the past couple weeks, right? Because there are people that have suspicions. There are people that have doubts. So to announce that Kate is finally home from the hospital, this is the photo that you share. People have speculated that there's problems with their relationship. And to further drive the point, out of the tens of thousands of photos in the Daily Mail's archives, photos that they own the rights to or have purchased the rights to, why would you share this photo to announce that William wants to spend time by his wife's side as she convalesces? They are seen at whatever that Brisbane Abbey on Mental Health Day in October. Wrong photo. I'm not sure if they thought that using this photo from that location is helpful, or are they trying to tell us that someone has had a mental health break? Is that the point of it? I mean, because it reads like, somebody had a mental health break and now they're home from the hospital. Not saying that that's what happened, but that's what it looks like. That's what if somebody was trying to say, look at this, now read between the lines, that would be perfect. That would be perfect. And so I'm not sure what one was supposed to take from this or if this is telling us that, that's exactly what almost happened. You know what I'm saying? It's deliberately ambiguous, thus allowing the reader to glean from it whatever he or she may, right? But what are you up to? Why this article? Why a 2-year-old article today? That's the question that should be asked. And like I said, I wasn't sure that I wanted to share this, but I thought, I mean, it is in the paper. And I'm not saying that it's one thing or the other. I'm just saying it's strange. The timing of it is strange. It could be a coincidence, and I hope it is a coincidence. But we do know that they have a copy of the Daily Mail every day. And what does it do for one's mental health to open up the Daily Mail and see stuff like this? Of course, they didn't care when it was Meghan, but Meghan's not part of the invisible contract. They don't care when it's Harry, but Harry's not protected by that invisible contract. But these two are. So what are you trying to say? Are you trying to tell us something that may happen, that has already happened, that you know, you hope it doesn't happen? What are you trying to tell us? What does one take from this? So that's what I wanted to share. So I will say, keep your eyes open, guys. Keep your eyes open. And if something doesn't look right, you know, just I don't know. Sometimes it could just be nothing. That's it. It may mean nothing. But it seems as though they're trying to tell us something and they just won't. Just like that Angela Levin, it seemed like she was trying to tell us something, but she just won't. Right? It seems like they've all been trying to say something and nothing at the same time. But something happened, and Angela Levin just about let the cat out the bag the other day when she said those things about what William used to do or had to do or whatever. And so it's at that point now where you either think there's something to it or you don't. That's it. Take a look at a couple of your comments. Give me just a second. I'll leave it there. Yes, it is very strange. They're definitely trolling Bones. There are no coincidences. Yeah, Cat Chloe, that's what I was thinking. It would be a very odd coincidence. Let me see. Oh, interesting. Well, it's a lot of things they're not talking about, isn't it? Let me see. I'm stuck on why this family doesn't have the heart to help the British economy. Money can't buy time. What's wrong with them? Well, they're takers. They're takers. And I think they're afraid that if they give anything, they'd have to keep giving. That's the thing, is that they'd have to keep giving. Suffered from this kind of reminder seems to be planting the seed that no one would be to blame. Yeah. It just seems like something happened, and maybe they have some very, very good reasons, or what they believe are good reasons, to keep these things on the down low. But it leaves them up for a lot of speculation, open for speculation. And because they take money from the public, I don't really care about those people. But I know that if those are the same people that are trying to respect their privacy are the same people that tortured, these tabloids tortured Meghan throughout her pregnancy with Archie. They tortured her, tortured the both of them, and they did not care what impact it had. Meghan was away from cameras for about, 4 or 5 months? And every day there was one salacious story after the other. They could have easily have cost the Sussexes their firstborn child, and they did not care. So I don't know that I shouldn't say that. I don't care about the idea that anybody else in that family has a right to privacy. And yes, two wrongs don't make a right, but I don't care. I don't care. That was a very, very painful time watching them torture the Sussexes while they were at Adelaide Cottage. It seemed like it should have been enough that you've run them out of Kensington Palace. Then they go to Adelaide Cottage and there's more leaking, more briefing, more attacks. And then, of course, just to be snarky about it, then you move into the Adelaide Cottage, right? Something that was supposed to be a gift to the Sussexes in the first place. They weren't supposed to go to Frogmore. It was already mentioned that the Sussexes would go to Adelaide. Why would the Queen put them in give them a cottage that is not complete, that is in need of a lot of work, that they rushed to complete in time for Archie's birth, when Adelaide Cottage was sitting right there? And even if it was servants staying there, you evicted people for Admiral Hall to get the Cambridges in there. Surely it wouldn't have been too much of a stretch to get those people out of Adelaide Cottage. But no, they didn't get Adelaide Cottage. They had to take something that had been shuttered and under reconstruction. So yeah, there's no right to privacy for them. None of them. I don't accept it. I don't believe it. And I don't care. I really don't care. They have no right to privacy. If the Sussexes have no right to privacy, none of them have a right to privacy. I said what I said. So why are pregnant women still being treated for that word right there, the extreme vomiting condition that hit Kate Middleton and drove one expectant mother to despair? Again, without saying it, they just threw that out there today. So it was very weird, but this was also part of that same article or added, how they have a bunch of stuff. But yeah, that was strange. Now, tell William and Kate, I want them to know it was me. Oh, I tell you, the Sussex squad, it's like a bunch of comedians sometimes. Hello, Senior Royal here. Tell William and Kate, I want them to know it was me. Oh, is that perfect or what? Hello, Senior Royal here. Hello. I said Senior Royal here. I love it. She has had this devious look on her face. I have never seen Camilla so happy and so animated in all these years. I've never seen her so animated and so giddy. she has been absolutely giddy. Absolutely giddy. Yeah, anyway, that was something that one of the squatties created. And, well, somebody's coming up in this world. If you recall, one of the former presidents had the use of a Boeing 757. That, of course, is a commercial jetliner that was converted into a private jet, a very large private jet. I mean, this thing has a capacity of like over 100 passengers, I think. It's like they call it the flying pencil because it's so long and skinny, and it's over-engineered. It's got very powerful engines. Well, apparently, it no longer belongs to the former president. It seems like someone named E. Jean Carroll may have acquired this jet in lieu of payments. Yeah. In lieu of payments, it appears as though E. Jean Carroll has just acquired a Boeing 757. Very cool, huh? Very, very cool. And with that, you guys, I do believe I am done. Yes, I am. I am done. 2 hours and 28 minutes. A little longer than I expected, but here we are. Let me see. Well, she is realizing that she is disposable and not that special. Yeah. You know what, Yulibi? They have been asking of a very mediocre, a very quiet, private person to do some extraordinary things. I think that the pressure of trying to fill some very, very expensive shoes, some very well-educated shoes. In other words, when you try to take someone and turn them into, wait for it. Yeah, when you try to turn someone into Meghan Markle, you got to bring it. You really got to bring it. Meghan, who had the Instagram account with what was it, 3 million followers, something like that, who cultivated a clothing line for a department store, who spoke at the United Nations for the well, whatever that was, but someone who interned at a embassy. I mean, this is, someone who has done some amazing things in life. And all of these things she's done before she even married into that family. And then you take someone who was not meant to work, someone who was just supposed to wear pretty clothes and have children, and that's supposed to be the bulk of their contribution. You have that person out doing public speaking, pretending to be some type of CEO and lecturer and such. That was a lot to ask. And the strain of it, not just for her, but for him too, the strain of it was wearing down on them. They had articles. There was a People magazine, Will and Kate Under Pressure. They were under a lot of pressure. They are under a lot of pressure. It makes you wonder, was there really an operation, or is this the Great Reset? Is this period of time necessary so that they can reset, so that they can come up with a new approach? Because the strain of it, I believe it had to have been exhausting. Trying to be someone you're not. Someone who has a core strength an ability to communicate, to think outside the box. You know, there was a lot of excitement today from one of the royal reporters. They say that there's some people, or a person, I think it was a person, has left the Archwell. But they didn't mention that Kate has had, what, 4 assistants in less than 2 years? Or was it 5? And the last person they tried to hire for Kate got to I'm just going to say Kensington Palace. They got to Kensington Palace, took a measure of the situation and said, nope, and went back to their old job. So what a thing to have on your CV, on your resume, that you worked for the royal family, that you worked for the future queen. And yet this person quit. They didn't even start. They stopped before they even started, because they realized that it wasn't possible to help them. It just wasn't possible. I'd rather go back to Jamie Oliver, she said. It just wasn't possible. So you're asking someone very meek to try to walk like a giant, right? Out of all the heads of state, out of all the big brass military people that Harry has met some extraordinary people. He poked his head around the corner and he saw this beautiful woman holding court. Everybody clinging to her words. And he pulled back and said, I am going to have to up my game if I'm going to have a conversation with this lady. I don't have a chance. He had to compose himself so that he could talk to her. So, what does that tell you? All the people that Harry has met, and this is the one. This is the one. As they say, she checked every box. Brilliant, funny, good cook, smart, capable, all of those things. And then you take someone who has been pretty much groomed to fill a certain role, have babies, the most primal of abilities, have a baby. It's tough. It's a lot of work, especially for someone prone to morning sickness and such. However, that could have been anyone. But that same person was supposed to, all of a sudden, they moved the goalposts. And they're just like, you never put a foot wrong, which is a lie, because, her skirt was on top of her head and over her shoulder more than it was down to her knees or thighs. But they say she never put a foot wrong. You take that person who can't seem to stop showing, the fun parts. You take that person who's otherwise didn't really do much, say much, or know much, and you try to make them into Meghan 2.0. You dress her up like Meghan, even style her hair like Meghan's on occasion, not every day. But all of that was a failure. And what it did was crush Kate's spirits. Kate couldn't measure up. They tried. Boy, they tried. They brought in experts, a glam squad, all of that stuff. And the stress was consuming her. Now, I'm not saying that's why anything happened, But we've all witnessed someone withering on the vine for the past few years. We can agree with that one, right? We can all agree that someone who seemed very plump and robust when they married into that family was slowly dripping, sliding down a downward spiral into despair. And though they smiled and laughed and threw their hair and put on a good show on occasion, still it wasn't enough. You're just no Meghan Markle. And that had to hurt. And finally, they were on the brink of collapse. Yeah, a lot of pressure. A lot of pressure. And something happened. They say it was abdominal surgery. That's what they say. I don't have the ability to say anything different. They say she was in the hospital. I don't know. I can't say it's for sure anything different because I don't have the information necessary to prove otherwise. But my instincts tell me that you are asking for a lot from someone very small, someone very, very small, someone not meant for that type of work. And it is a job. It's not just a role, it's a job. They can call it a role, but it's a job. Your job is to be present for your country. Impossible. You know, it really comes down to talent. Talent is something that you're either born with, you can cultivate talent, you can develop talent, but you either have it or you don't. You either have it or you don't. And I'm going to give you a good example of what I'm trying to say. Rosalind Kennedy, I'm sorry, not Rosalind Kennedy, Rosalind Carter had never spoken to any group larger than Sunday school. She had never addressed a group larger than Sunday school. But when her husband was running for governor and eventually running for president of the United States, Jimmy Carter was a governor before he was a president. He ran for president of the United States. She found herself addressing whole arenas full of people. And she not only rose to the occasion, but she exceeded all expectations, all but one. I'm pretty sure it was one person who believed in her, and that was Jimmy Carter. She was not a liability, she was an asset. And that was a talent that she had, she didn't even know she had. She had never addressed more than a room full of people. And how many times have you seen her flawlessly execute an interview with journalists who weren't necessarily kind to her or her husband? But she was amazing. But she had talent. She had talent. And you either have it or you don't. And some people, that's just not for them. And it's cruel to make someone into something that they're not. That's cruel. And it's also cruel for someone who is, out of their comfort zone to lash out at a woman who could have been your friend. Meghan could have been her friend. Meghan likes to help people. Meghan could have been her friend. But Meghan reached out her hand in friendship and had it slapped away. Harry was hoping that he could serve the crown, serve his grandmother, and stand on equal ground with his brother for once in their lives. A married Prince Harry with a very capable wife, and they wouldn't hear of it. they pushed him away as well, literally pushed him down. So this is why I say there is no right to privacy for them, not in my book. And while I don't wish anything bad on anyone, but sometimes God will do for us what we can't do for ourselves. So when Harry and Meghan suggested half in, half out, God said, nope, I got a better plan for you. And likewise, when you have someone who try to pretend to be someone that they're not, out of spite or jealousy or just plain malicious intent, well, maybe they needed to be humbled. Maybe. I don't know. Not my call. But maybe something happened to remind them that you're overstepping the mark. Maybe you need a different approach. That happens sometimes. So the people they tried to destroy, they're living their best life in California. Executive producers. Executive producers. Okay, so that's what I had to say. You guys, we'll just keep an eye on things, right? It's very interesting. I thank you all for hanging out and listening, for contributing with your thoughts and comments, for your prayers, for some of us that are struggling with our health right now. Very kind and thoughtful. Thank you, moderators, for keeping this a safe space. Thank you for keeping this a safe space, free of those awful derangers and such. Some of those hate listeners that are listening right now, please stop attacking the Sussexes, please, for your own good, for everybody's own good. They're good people, and they don't deserve the hatred and hostility that has been thrown at them because of some vendetta from Harry's brother or the men in gray suits, whoever they are. They don't deserve that. Just as much as I have said that, the Cambridge kids deserve protection. They deserve their mother's place in their home. Of course, I feel that for the Sussexes. These are parents. And all of this nonsense really needs to stop. The tabloid media won't stop, but you hate listeners, you can do something about it because you're wrong. You are just wrong. Okay, let me see here. Okay, I think we're good. Yeah, when you believe in your husband, when someone's doing good, it's amazing how you can rise to the occasion, right? If you believe in your spouse, if you believe in your partner, and you're called upon, it's amazing what you can do. It is amazing what you can do. Yeah. Yeah, it's some of the derangers, some of those volatile people that just hate for the sake of it. It's just so strange to know that these are your neighbors, the librarian, the school bus driver. And then when they get to a quiet space, they're accusing Meghan and Harry of not even having children. That's gotta hurt. That is painful. That is painful. I wince when I hear it. But the ease in which some people just throw that out there like they're telling the time of day is frightening. That frightens me, that anyone could be so hateful. But get over it. Hateful people, stop doing what you're doing. Stop attacking people. Okay, well, with that, you guys, I'm going to go back up here to the top photo. And I'm going to look for the last word of the day. Let me see here. Yeah, Angelina Stanley. It was a missed opportunity. It may have been some type of malicious game that got out of hand, but I hope I'm going to be optimistic, just like Harry. I hope that whatever happened in that hospital, in the Adelaide cottage, whatever has caused all of this to happen, I hope that they come out of it a nicer person than when they went into it. I hope that they have seen the light. I pray for something miraculous to occur. I pray for something miraculous to occur. Yeah, that's it. I can only say that. I pray for the extraordinary, because sometimes it takes something like that, whatever that was, it takes something like that for people to see the light. And I hope that they do. I hope they have the courage to see the treachery that they've done and correct it. Yeah, and I'll let that be the last word. And otherwise, as we pay respect to our queens, Queen Doria, who has really been the rock of that family. I hope they didn't steal my phrase and use that for Willie, but Doria has been the rock for the Sussex family. Okay. All right, so good night, everyone. Love you guys. I will see you all tomorrow. And we are going to end with Madam Duchess.